Welcome to The Purple Door, a podcast for young women by young women, with your host, Shanique Lowndes. Each week, we deliver the best hard-hitting analysis of topical issues that affect young women and how they deal with them. Today, we have a very interesting, very intense topic for discussion. But before we go there, I'm going to ask our panelists to introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Shanique.
I'm Brianna.
I'm Crystal.
And I'm Salima.
Today, ladies, we are discussing the topic of loneliness in the context of singleness. Some of us experience intense loneliness when we're single, and today we're going to ask these ladies to share with us some of their experiences being single and lonely, and what are some of the strategies that they have used to cope with this as a reality. So, are we all single? Is anyone dating seriously or?
Nope.
I'm dating.
You're dating a little. Okay, fine. So we're single.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
So, are you lonely?
Sometimes.
Has anyone describe to me what your experience being lonely is.
I mean, like post break, like immediately after, that little guilt trip phase where you think that you're the problem.
Right.
Yeah. That when after that, you shake it off and you get back.
So you're talking about coming out of a relationship, like if there's a breakup.
Yes.
You feel like you're the problem, and you may feel after that passes, you get lonely.
Yeah, but then afterwards, well, with me, I don't know about everybody else. Afterwards, it passes, and then the loneliness goes away.
All right. So for you, it's intermittent.
Yeah.
Okay. How lonely do you get? Like, do you stay lonely for a long period of time? Does it really consume you? Do you get distracted from everything else because you're focused on being lonely? Or is it just a feeling that comes and goes?
For me, it's a feeling that comes and goes. It doesn't stay because it's like I know how to get around it or, work around it.
Okay.
Yeah. If I'm talking to somebody or getting to know somebody and it's like, I'm a type of person, I listen to you very well and I observe. So if what I want, it doesn't match it, I'm like, oh no. So I push you away. I like pushing people away. So then it tends to, leave me, lonely. But then, TV is the best way to get over things. I love watching shows. I watch like all 5 shows, 10 shows. I watch shows often. So then after I finish watching my shows, I'm like, oh, I'm back to Brianna.
Okay.
Yes.
Brianna with her tea.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, for me, I've been out of a relationship for about probably 5-6 years and out of a relationship. So I've been by myself for, that period of time, and how I cope with it, I use God to actually fill that loneliness at times. So I kind of developed my relationship with him, and when I feel like, there's something else missing, I don't know how to actually fill that gap, but I think that's the remainder of my loneliness. But I try to use God to fill that gap.
Okay.
For us females, sometimes we do get feelings like the males, but
what kind of feelings?
Like that. What should I say?
Like urges?
Yes, we do get that feeling. We do get that feeling, but
it's natural.
It's natural, but for me, I'll definitely sleep that off. I'll go to sleep. I'll just, I don't know about you females here, but I do. If I feel that way, I said, oh no, the devil is a liar, and I just go to sleep. So
that works for you.
Yeah,
that's when TV comes in.
Alright, so I'm hearing about TV and I'm hearing about sleep. Does anyone have a difficulty interacting with their friends who may be in relationships or married?
I mean, my married friends are like 10 years older than I am. So it's different. But I mean, like for friends my age, at this point, most of them are single. Yeah, so, we're in the same boat. But, when everybody starts to pair up and thing, I guess I just play the third wheel until it's my time. I mean, yeah, you make your little jokes, have little feelings behind it, but you just try to hide it.
Oh no, I can't pull that out because I'll be upset. Everybody will look at my face and say, "Man, she don't look good."
No.
I can't play third wheel, so I don't go out with my friends when they're going out with their boyfriend. I stay home because you're going to be looking and be like, "Oh, I wish I have a boyfriend who do that. Oh, I wish it's like it doesn't make any sense."
I used to have a relationship before this one, right? And it didn't work out. And I said to myself, probably I should just stay by myself because talking on a Christian perspective, you're not supposed to have sex out of marriage, right? And it can be so pressuring at times because you have feelings. It's not like you're a stone and you like the person. So sometimes, you're tempted to do the wrong. And I realized that it did not work with that person. So I said, you know what, probably I should just be by myself and try to get that, develop that relationship with God, and God probably will just provide me with somebody. Because I don't think, sometimes we might think that we need somebody right now, but we really don't need it. We need time to know ourselves. Spend time with ourselves and so try to have a social relationship with friends to know, because I have a type. Very specific.
Yes.
Yes, it is very specific. I like dark men, and sometimes it seems as if you're not going to get that person, and it's taking too long. You understand? But
be patient.
Yeah, I'm trying to be patient, and as I said, I'm dating somebody. And I just hope, if it is God's will, then that person will be my Mr. Right.
She spoke about, God is going to send the right person for me. That is my motto.
Me likewise.
Yes. Anytime, whenever breakups happen, I'm like, God will send who is for me, and that's like the glimmer of hope. Because I'm young, I'm very young, so marriage is probably 5-10 years down the road for me. Probably not the same for others. So I just, mommy always encourages me to pray for, whoever God has in store for me. So that's my motto.
Okay. For me, I don't go out, so I don't have a lot of friends who are married friends. So yes, I do share the same sentiments as waiting on God to send, that person. But seeing that I'm not so sociable, how do I actually? Will I actually find that person? Work. I do land surveying, and I'm surrounded by elder folks. So that's out.
It's all well and good to say God will send him, but we know that God's timing is not our time.
Our time.
And what do you do then when you're trusting God to send you this guy, but he's not coming, and you don't know when he's going to come, and you're a sitting duck and you're waiting, you're observing, you're looking, you're probably socializing with some people on a casual level, but you don't see yet evidence that you are going to find this person to form a relationship that will end in marriage. How do you deal with being lonely in your life? So you may have friends, but you don't have that special person. What do you do with that feeling that you're alone and face the reality that it could be possible that you will not have a person of your own?
Since y'all are older, I think you should take that one.
Okay, I use it as a medium for growth. Maybe I'm not ready for a relationship, so I use this waiting time as a period for growth.
So what are some of the practical things that you do? So you are feeling lonely today. What do you do to deal with that?
Well, I get myself active in church because that feels like like yesterday, we were supposed to sing and we didn't get to, and I felt emptiness inside. So I don't know, when I get active and do stuff, it actually get my mind off of stuff like that or certain stuff.
Okay, so when I'm lonely, All right, let me just put it this way, because it's not every single day I'm lonely. Most time, I'm just up and I have a high spirit and everything is okay with me. But other time, like whenever I'm at home, I'm not going to school or I don't have a work, I tend to be low. That is when the loneliness kicks in. You might be on your bed and sometimes I start having some urges, and I'm telling you, it's affected me. Most times the heat is so up, I have to take baths.
I'm happy that Crystal is willing to say these
Yes.
things, because many times we acknowledge that men face these difficulties.
Yes,
when
it's
they're
true.
single, because
Yes.
we know that sex is very important to men and the way they're wired and so on, and they have their own experiences, which many of them are very evident and obvious when it comes to urges and so on. But I think in our realm as women, a lot of people, they don't appreciate, they don't validate, they don't count the fact that we face these things as well. We have feelings, and that sometimes it can get very difficult. It can get very difficult because I experienced that before I got married. I experienced being single, being lonely in my life, needing to have that special person and having the urges and all of that. And it was not easy, but I didn't feel as a female that it was okay. for me to admit.
Yeah,
that
that's
I
true.
felt that way.
That is very true. You can't speak up to certain things. Like, you have to be, if you're around your friends and they're sharing certain things and you'll be like, oh, that never happened to me. That have never happened to me. When but it's like you're in the circle and you're like, isn't this uncomfortable or weird for us to be talking about it? Yes, it does feel weird.
But it's a real thing.
Yeah.
And we want our ladies out there to know that nothing is wrong with you. Because what you find is that when you have friends who have gotten married, the relationship gets a little bit odd. Because now they're in a different category, and some of the things you experience as a single person, you won't necessarily share with them because they can't relate anymore.
Yes.
And then a lot of the things they're experiencing in their marriage, they won't share because you're single. So there's a slight and many times temporary disconnect when your friends get married.
Yeah.
But what saved me was that I drew closer to my single girlfriends. And we would sit and we would talk, and sometimes when one of us experiences a breakup and all the drama that we encourage each other and we go together as girls and we talk and keep each other's company and so on. So that for me was my saving grace. Going through, real loneliness, being single, wanting God to send that man for me and all of that. So that is something that you guys can put in place as a strategy to bond together as single women. Share your feelings, be honest with each other, encourage each other, pray with each other, keep each other accountable and all of those things, and help each other to choose the guys too. It's good to have those people.
Yes.
And in the realm of being single and being lonely, one of the things we have to defend ourselves against is being desperate.
True.
Yes.
And feeling like because you are bombarded by these feelings and this need for somebody okay, this guy in my space, you want to just grab him up and you turn a blind eye to some of the things that may be evident red
eventually.
flags. It's at those times when your friends who are able to see through eyes you're not able to see through can say to you, I really don't think you should go there. Maybe you should give this time, take it slow, and so on. Yeah. So while we experience loneliness, we experience urges, we experience the burden of being single, we really have to be careful how we attach ourselves. And further to that, we find that many young women who feel that they can't cope and finding a young man in the church is difficult, they leave the church in a quest for someone, because some of us feel that our options are limited. Do you feel like your options are limited when it comes to guys in the church?
Yes.
Has it ever gotten to the place where you felt like you could explore dating someone outside, or you would probably go away and find a spouse?
Yes.
I'm not really a traveler. Yes, I'm a church rat. Before I started dating this person, I wasn't looking for anybody. As far as I'm concerned, I'm going to just leave it up to God. I'm waiting on Him, right? I I didn't even wanted to get into any dating at this time, to be honest. But I gave it a try, and it has been going on well. It has been going on well, and I hope that it will blossom into something beautiful.
Awesome.
Yes.
But the reality that women leave the church in the quest for a spouse is a reality. It's a real thing, and we find that women in our age group, in the 18 to 35 age group, especially going up into 20s, approaching 30s, where people start to pressure and say, oh, this is a time for you to get married. And people feel the urge to, start having their children and so on. We find that quite a few of our young women have over the years left the church because they're pulled by the prospect of marrying someone who is not necessarily a Seventh-day Adventist, and then you find that they find their way back sometime later in life. How do you feel about this?
I don't think it's a smart thing to do, right? Because if you're in the church, you grow up in the church, you know God, and I understand that we have feelings, and I'm not going to act as if,
it's not hard.
It's not hard. It's hard, but at the same time, you have to just wait.
I think it's to prioritize. You're a Christian. What's the whole duty of you being a Christian? So you have to get that mind frame that God first and everything comes after. So maybe if those women are focusing on God, they will get their husband in due time. So it's the focus. You don't have to leave the church to get start a family, then come back. Everything happens in time.
Disclaimer though, I don't want anybody out there who's watching or listening to feel that we're discriminating against those who have chosen that route.
No,
because it is a real issue, and we have to also take into account that God knows all. And God and that person will have to work out their situation. But the truth is, it's not advisable. It's not something I would encourage young women to do, because many of them have left to find a spouse and they haven't been able to come back. So that is another thing we have to take into account. But the reality of the struggles of singleness, though, is something that I think our young people have not been able to find a space to really discuss in an honest way. And I'm happy that these young ladies are sharing with us, because it's a challenge that overwhelms you at a particular phase of your life. It's almost like it's in your face everywhere, and especially with social media now, where when somebody gets married, photos are all over the place. And if you are on social media and you're single and you see all your friends posting wedding pictures, sometimes they just come in a flurry, like you have one this week, another couple weeks, another one, and they're just coming at you and everybody's getting married and they're like, what happened to me? So it's real, and I want to encourage our young women to not be afraid to talk about what you feel. And don't buy into this idea. I mean, it's a good idea to buy into, but the need for another human being in your life, it can be so, for want of a better word, real. That yes, we focus on God and we ask God to fill the void and so on, but we were made for relationship. We were made for that. So yes, you worship God and you get active in church and you focus on Jesus and you grow spiritually and so on. But what do you do when that feeling is still there? Because I can tell you, I can't think of a time I was never active in church. I've had my ups and downs in my spirituality, but I've always been on the quest to know Jesus more and grow with Jesus more. But I've never not been wanting a husband.
Yes.
The desire to be married has always been a reality for me. I got so frustrated at one point that I said to God, Lord, if you're not going to give me a husband, don't let me want one. Take away my desire for marriage then, if you're not going to give me a husband. And the truth is, there are people who have been gifted with the gift of singleness. Not being married doesn't bother them. But Paul says that those of us who don't have that, it is better to get married than to be consumed by these feelings. So, it's hard, it's real, but God is able. And you're all beautiful young women, intelligent, and I want to trust that God is going to provide in due time those partners that can help to fill these voids and take away these feelings and satisfy these needs. So that is where we're going to wrap up the discussion. But before we do, any final comments from any of you ladies?
Okay, what I have to say is that, ladies, please don't feel hopeless. Don't feel hopeless. If it is that you can't find somebody at this time, just continue doing you. Because when you find somebody, it's not only one person, it's two persons working together, different personality. You have to. So just continue being you and pray about it. If it is God's will, He will provide you with that, Mr. Right.
So when those sexual urges arise, you can put it to God. He can take them away from you and drift your focus from them to something else.
We've expressed our feelings, and I want to thank all of you ladies for sharing, for being so candid and honest and open about, the realities, the harder realities of being single. And I just want to encourage all our Phoebes and even our young men out there to trust the Lord to take care of you. Thanks for listening to The Purple Door. This podcast is made possible by the Women's Ministry Department of the Central Jamaica Conference for listeners like you. Visit them at centralja.org. Like The Purple Door on Facebook and Instagram and leave your comments and questions. And remember to subscribe so you never miss a show. Join us next week for another great discussion. Until then, be blessed.